Hi, everyone. This is Dr. Gayle Carson. Welcome to Living Regret Free, a program that shows you how to live a better and more joyful life. As an added bonus, I invite you to listen to an introduction to my Mindset Matters program, which ties into this so well. Go to www.sobmindset.com. It's free, and I know you will enjoy it. If you'd like to contact me personally, drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com or go to my website, www.spunkyoldbroad.com, and sign up for my weekly newsletter. Hi, everybody. This is Gayle Carson, and I'm going to be your guest for today. And the reason is because I have two new things happening, and I want you to know about them. So I thought the best way to do it is to let you know about it on this show. The first thing I wanted to mention to you is that I will be doing a retreat this year, and I'm hoping that many of you will want to attend. Now, what is the retreat and what is it all about? I will be having a small group of women. I don't want a large gathering, maybe 10 or 12, who can get together and talk about things of interest to them. I will have a planned agenda, but there will be a lot of free time so we can do the things that you are interested in doing. And you'll have free time in the afternoon. And we also will have some really fun things that we're doing together. In other words, I think that we're going to have afternoons free. You're going to be able to have some spa treatments or get some meditation done, or maybe you want to do some yoga. There'll be a combination of everything there for you. What I would really like to know is your favorite places to go. I'm planning on doing one either in Palm Springs or San Diego, and then I'd like to do another one, whether it'll be this year or next year, abroad somewhere, some exotic location that you'd like to go and see and do that you've never been to. So if you're interested in learning more about the retreats and what's involved and how you would apply for them, etc., I would love to have you contact me either through my website on my contact form or at my email, which is Gayle Carson, Gayle, Gayle Carson13@gmail.com. So if you want to contact me about a retreat, if you've always wanted to go on a retreat with somebody like me, a spunky old broad, and do spunky old broad things, then I would love to have you. The other thing I'm going to spend more time on, because it's ready to go and I want you to be aware of it, is my new Get on TV course. And I firmly believe, and this is for you if you are an entrepreneur or a speaker or a coach or an author or anyone who has a cause, maybe a charity or something that you're interested in promoting. I think everybody needs to get on TV. I think that everybody needs to have their 3 minutes of fame, so to speak, because that's all you're going to get when you're on TV. When you do a podcast or a radio show like I do here, you get anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. But when you're on TV, you only get 3 minutes. And think about it. Even when you look at the big celebrities that might be on, for instance, Kelly and Ryan, or even on Good Morning America or the Today Show, they only have 3 or 4 minutes. Maybe it goes to 5 minutes in a segment, but in reality, it's not much longer than that. So you've got to get your points out very succinctly. They've got to make sense. They've got to be of interest. People have got to know why you're the person who is talking about it. So in my course, there are like 4 modules, and those 4 modules are broken up into 4, 5, 6 different segments. And we teach you how to put a segment proposal together. That's what you send to a TV producer to see if they're interested in what it is that you want to present. We show you how to, what the best way to dress for your particular segment is. For example, if you're in the medical field, you're going to be probably in a white coat of some sort. You might even have a stethoscope around your neck. But if you're doing something that's something different, for instance, when I'm on TV, I always wear a suit jacket, and usually I'm in pants, and a very colorful blouse, because you need to have that spark of color. No dangling jewelry, nothing like that. But you really need to have, you need to look very authentic in what you are wearing. And for instance, if you're in a trade of some sort, like electrician or plumber or something like that, you probably wear your work outfit with your name badge on, because that's how you appear when you are doing your work. So I created this because I just felt it was a necessary thing. People are watching a lot of things online. There's more and more TV shows that are coming online. This is a way for you to get recognized and heard. And so it's very important that you know the procedures to follow. So I know there are some of you that are saying, well, who am I? Why should someone bring me on? Shouldn't they get somebody who's famous? No, they want somebody who's an expert. And if you're an expert in something, whether it's making a fantastic cake and you can decorate a cake in a way that I can't even bake, you should be on TV. If you, for instance, are a great knitter or a crocheter and you do things that, for example, you create knitwear for a worthy cause, that's a reason for you to be on TV talking about it. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can present on TV as long as you know how to do it. And so we talk about this and we talk about what you present. And you need to have props. You need to have props when you're on TV because that's what keeps people interested. Now, when I was on talking about the worst mistakes to make when starting a second career, I talked about people who thought it was beyond the time, that they were too old to start a second career. So I used one of those little vessels that pours the sand from one side to the other, talking about the hands of time and the sands of time. When I talked about you needed to learn new technical skills, I used the iPhone versus the flip phone so that it would be more trendy. And then when I talked about believing in yourself and remembering who you were as a youngster and all the dreams and passions that you had, I had a toy trophy there, a small trophy that showed the wins that you had when you were younger. So it's important. And just like you just heard my cat, I have my cat with me on my radio shows. You might bring a pet with you. Now, I will tell you something. If you bring a pet from the Humane Society or one of the services that rescues animals, you're a winner right then and there. People love to watch animals on TV. The problem is the animal will sometimes become the focus point. But if you use an animal to kind of help, for example, you might be doing a show on travel and you might want to show travel tips with dogs. So you might have a small dog with you to show how you travel with a pet. Or it could be, because that's what I did for 11 years. I took my little Yorkie from Florida to California every month for 11 years. And she loved it. She just loved to travel. And so, there's a good segment in that. So you could use any kind of prop you want as long as you can handle it with ease, because otherwise your hands are going to be in your lap or you're going to be talking with them, which is fine. We want that. We don't want still hands. But we don't want, if you are standing, for your hands to be cupped in the fig leaf position, because there's nothing worse. So you want to make sure that you definitely have props and that you use them well. You also want to make sure that your voice is lower pitched. The lower your voice, the more authentic you will sound. If you're way up here, you sound like you don't know what you're talking about, and it's just not very impressive. So it's got to be low, and your voice, your tone, your intonation, and you should be excited about what you're talking about. And you should smile, show your teeth, and make sure your teeth look good. Have fun. Those are important things, and don't fidget. And when you go on TV, you need a plan. You need a plan for what are you going to say? Because let me tell you something. I have done a lot of TV, and hosts will sidetrack you, not because they mean to, but because they get involved in what they want to ask you rather than what you necessarily want to say. So you better have I don't want you to memorize what you're going to say, but you need to be familiar with the points. And if you send them in your segment proposal, most of the time they will put those points on screen. So as you're talking about these points, they are communicating them to the viewer, which has a much bigger impact, and they will listen a lot more as well. And of course, you don't want to use any of your jargon or things like that, because the only people that will understand you are the people in that profession. So you want to make sure that you're just talking in everyday language. And I can't tell you how important all of these small things are. And that's what we cover in this course. We go through it with you. We give you examples. We show you how to put a segment proposal together. We give them to you so you can model and copy them. But the most important thing is your energy, because if that doesn't come across on the screen, you're going to have a problem. So you can't talk like this, and you have to be excited about what you're saying. And so you have to have animation, and you have to be enthusiastic. And there's no do-overs. Everything is it's either live or it's recorded for a later time, but they're not going to do it over and over and over again because they expect you to be the expert. And if you're the expert, you know what you're talking about. And if you do make a mistake, nobody knows it. Nobody knows it but you, because you're the only one that knows what you're prepared to talk about. So that's all important. And all of this is covered in the Get On TV course. And it's not an expensive program. It's something that's very reasonable, that you can all take an interest in and participate in and do very well with. You need to pay attention, however. I think, it's like anything in person. How you look is whether you're going to turn somebody on or turn somebody off. That's why your makeup has to be good. And of course, they're not doing your makeup for you. This is not, you're not a star, and this is not the Today Show or Get a Good Morning America. You are doing your own makeup. And sometimes the station has makeup there that you can use, but the majority of time, You come there ready, prepared to do your thing, and you go into something called the green room, which is really not a green room. It's simply where you sit and wait with a lot of other people who are waiting to get on. And that's the other thing. You may be on a show at 7 a.m. in the morning, but you may have to get there at 5:30 in the morning because they want to make sure you're there. They want to make sure everything goes all right. You probably want to check out the set, all of those kinds of things. So there's a lot of things that go into doing a successful TV appearance. And all of that is how people will judge you. And why are you going on TV? You're going on TV to promote a cause. Let's say you're having a race for something, or you're raising money for a charity, or there's a big social event that you want people to attend. The purpose is to get them to either donate or buy. And you're only going to do that if you're talking about something that's interesting and if you're enthusiastic about it. And if you are on there to publicize a product that you have or a service that you provide, you've got to be enthusiastic about that as well. And all of those things go into making somebody say, hey, I should check them out. It's not an advertisement, because they would charge you a bunch of money for that. And it's not an infomercial, which is even more expensive. It is simply a 3-minute segment on your product or your service or your cause, and you do it well. And if you do it well, they'll put a thing up on the, a byline up on the screen, and they'll know how to get in touch with you or how to buy the tickets or how to find you. And from there, it's up to you to do the selling. But you don't do the selling on TV, because that will get you banned, and they'll say, well, you should have paid for that. So that's a part of the course as well. You also need to know who books the shows. You need to know how to get them to pay attention to you. You need to show them how to reach you, because, again, it's very hard to get a hold of these people. It's I'm thinking of a show that I've been on 3 times, and they love me and they want me back. But every time I try to tell them I've got a new segment, it takes me 9 contacts to be in touch with them, because they're just not sitting around waiting for your call, and they're very busy, they're understaffed, and this is what they do. So, you've got to have patience, and you've got to have a mindset that gets you there. And you've got to feel, okay, I'm going to spend whatever time, maybe an hour a week or 2 hours a week or 1 full day or whatever it is, getting in touch with these people. And then you have to figure out the best time to reach them, because many of them are on morning shows. They produce them from 5 to 7, because it's 7 in most networks and most markets. You go to either Good Morning America or CBS This Morning or the Today Show. So usually these local shows are on from 5 a.m. to 7 a.m., and that means a real early morning call. And these producers get there at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. And I can tell you by 9 o'clock, they're gone because, they've had their day and they've put in the time and they've got fires to put out and so forth and so on. So it's just a way you've got to understand and learn. And we teach you all of these things in the course. We also give you examples of things that you shouldn't do, mistakes you might make, or how to avoid certain things, and how to promote your credibility, and how to make people know that you are the one that they should be talking to. And the other thing I want to alert you to as well, and we explain this in the course, is that it costs a lot of money to do these shows because they're not paying for your expenses. There's a lot of things that happen, and you're getting yourself there. And I've had planes cancel on me, and I've had world events happen and things like that, and you are not on. And you're not on the next day either because they're already booked then. So, you spent the money, you've gone there, and guess what? You're not on. So we prepare you for all of these things on TV. And it's interesting to learn how TV has changed and how it's the same. It's the same in the fact that, you're a talking head, basically. You're telling the viewer something that they may not know, but they want to learn about. It's different in the fact that there's a lot more graphics now on TV. There's a lot more other channels on TV. A lot of people do not even own televisions anymore. They're watching everything on their computers or their tablets. It's really interesting to see how you may be coming across. And so what we teach you, whether it's for a TV program, or maybe you want to develop something for a YouTube channel, or maybe you're on one of the other types of streaming video types of networks, it's still the same. You still have to have the same skills. You have to have the same knowledge. You have to have the same abilities. And that's what we're preparing you to do. Now, one of the things that's really very important in terms of when you do television is to be so knowledgeable about your subject that somebody cannot stump you, I should say, because the hosts will they'll ask you all kinds of things. I mean, they'll just try to get you to do something totally different than what you're comfortable with. Now, it's up to you to get them back on track. I mean, you might answer their question or not, and you might say, well, as I was saying, or, well, tip number 3 is, or, well, that's very interesting, and I really haven't thought that much about it. However, when we're talking about, and go back to what you were talking about, there's a lot of ways to do that we'll train you for, but you just need to have some statistics, because hosts love statistics. Audiences love statistics. So all of that is part of what we're training you to do so that you're ready for whatever comes at you, because there's a lot of things that people will ask you about that you don't have any knowledge of. Now, when people compare radio and TV, and as you know, this is a radio show, so it's a interesting comparison. You can't see me. I could be doing this in my pajamas and you wouldn't know. And as I've told you, I have cats and they're always coming in to visit me. Sometimes you'll hear them on the broadcast. Sometimes they're sitting on my lap. Sometimes they're staring at me from behind the computer. But you don't know any of that unless I tell you, because it's radio and you can't see me. On the other hand, with TV, everything is visual. So you've got to look the part. You've got to sit and stand the part. Your hair must be done. Your makeup must be good. You don't have jangling jewelry, and you are appropriately dressed for whatever you're talking about. So those are some things that are very key to the differences between radio and TV. Now, is it easier to get on radio than it is on TV? Yes and no. You still go through the same things. You still have to contact the producers or the host, depending on how the show is run. And you still have to make sure that they get your email or whatever. The most important thing to understand is that nobody likes to open attachments. If you send something out and it's got an attachment, whether it's TV or whether it's radio, they don't want to open it unless it's a PDF file. PDFs are pretty safe, but they don't want to open anything else because it may really damage their computers. And they're the computers of the station, not their personal computers. So they are liable for all of this. And it really puts them out of sorts when they have a computer breakdown. So you must attach whatever you send as a PDF, and they will usually let you know what will be able to be sent and used. It's also really great if you can tie in what's going on locally with what you are talking about. For example, if you are doing an event or a race or a charity, usually that's local. But when you are talking about bigger things like the best way to do a particular skill or task, or as I was doing, the 3 worst mistakes to make when starting a second career. I mean, that is something that is national, and I talked about it nationally. I was in many different cities talking about this one specific subject. Also, you may need to have something that's very visual, like I did workout segments for seniors. I showed exercises that you could do very successfully in chairs and so forth, so that people would be able to use that immediately. So again, the Get on TV course, how do you get it? You can go to my website, spunkyoldbroad.com. It is listed under the products, or you can send me an email at gaylecarson13@gmail.com, and you can ask for more information about it, and we'll send it to you. Or you can send me through our contact sheet where it says contact me, what you're interested in learning about with the TV course. But it's not an expensive program. It's only $297, not expensive at all, something that all of you can easily afford. And I think it's an online course. You'll do it yourself. And if you decide after you're doing it that you want to have more instructions, you need some coaching from me, that's fine. You can get in touch with me and we can talk about doing some private one-on-one coaching if you feel more comfortable getting on TV that way. But there's all different ways. And this is a great way to start and say, hey, can I really do this? Do I feel comfortable getting in front of a camera? Can I do this and really provide a service to the listeners? And of course, that's part of it too. You've got to have the right station. Make sure that their demographics are your demographics and not ones that won't appeal to the listener. So there's just a whole bunch of things that we teach you in this course. And as I say, it's got 4 modules, and they have as many as 4 and 5 segments in them. Plus, we have a fabulous bonus for you. I'm not going to tell you about it unless you ask about the course by contacting us. But we have a fabulous bonus that one of my mentors has donated to us. It's a course that's almost $1,500 that you're getting as a bonus for free by taking the TV course. It's only $297. So there's a way that you can really benefit from this, and it's well worth the dollars that you'll spend. So hopefully it will be of interest to you. And so the question remains, should I do TV? Should I do radio? I think if you're any kind of an entrepreneur, if you're thinking of selling any kind of product or service, if you are promoting a charity or a race or a good cause, these are things that need to be in the media, and TV is a part of that. So I strongly suggest that you go to the website, or you go to my email, or however you'd like to be in touch with us to find out about the course. It is so well worthwhile. And you may be asking yourself, am I the person to do this? I say you are. I know that many of you out there have seen people on TV and you say, I could have talked about that. They should have had me on. I know more about that than she does or he does. Well, here's your chance. This is the way you do it. So I strongly suggest that all of you try this. It has been my absolute delight hosting these shows for you and having people on who you really love and that you follow and you use their product or service. And it gives me such a great feeling to know that so many of my listeners are people who really like to get new methodologies and new ways of doing things. So hopefully this will be one more way that you can do it and be successful at it And I hope that you'll continue to listen to Living Regret Free, because it's a great show, and I have great guests, and I just adore doing it. So I just had a cat jump on my lap, so I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for listening, and I hope I'm going to see you at the Get on TV course. You've had the opportunity to get to know me over the last few years, and I'd like to get to know you as well. One of the things I'm offering is training for the media. I have a wonderful program that will get you ready for any radio or TV interview you might be offered. Many of you are doing wonderful things, but no one knows about them. Others of you are successful and wonder, what's next? Whether you're in a business or have a special cause or a specific event you're promoting, media can help. And I can help you master your message so you can master the media. If this sounds interesting to you, email me at gaylecarson13@gmail.com with media training in the subject line. I promise I will be in touch. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. I choose my guests carefully, so if you have someone you'd like me to interview, please drop me a line at gaylecarson13@gmail.com. In the meantime, check out my intro program, Mindset Matters, at www.sobmindset.com. See you next week.